May. Strip clubs. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Actually, that's a lie, I don't. I don't because I didn't even know what I was thinking when this month came around. It was one of those months that just seemed to pass. Work, friends, late nights, some sleep, some sex, a few movies, maybe a concert, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, working out, drinking beer on a patio in 10-degree weather. Life just happened. Or so it was until that night. It started innocently, as any truly insane night does. I met a buddy at a local watering hole to watch a hockey game and have a couple beers and some wings. We proceeded to do what was expected of us. We kept one eye on the game, talked about work, shared a picture, argued about politics, talked about the women in my life, the woman in his, watched more hockey, ate some wings, shared another picture, reminisced about long ago flames that had been fully extinguished but whose charred remains were still interesting to look at. Watched the second period, and since there was another to go, ordered another pitcher. You get the drift. By the end of the game, and it was only 10 p.m., we'd shared 4 pitchers, and through the foggy effusiveness that had taken over our conversation, I somehow managed to tell him that I hadn't been to a strip club in 15 years. Next thing I know, we're hopping in a cab and are on our way. As I said, I hadn't been to one in a while, but this one was pretty impressive. It was 3 stories tall, had a big stage, the cover was obnoxious, and I assumed the drinks would be as well. But for the most part, that's all the detail I remember. I know we got lap dances, I know we had a semi-private room, I know we ordered shots, I know I had fun, and I know I stumbled home and somehow managed to open my front door and make it to my bed without injuring myself. I also know that when I woke up the next morning, horribly hungover, some instinctual part of my brain made me dive out of bed, grab my wallet, and pull out the credit card receipts from the previous night. It wasn't pretty. In fact, it was downright ugly. Not only could I not remember much of what had happened the night before, but we had managed to spend what would amount to a month's mortgage payment on a nice home. This was harsh. See, I am a frugal guy. I go out, I travel, I have a good standard of living, I own property, but I have never, in my life, even dreamed of blowing such a colossally large wad of cash on such a colossally useless thing. I had nothing to show for it. It wasn't a couch I could sit on, it wasn't a plasma TV I could watch, it wasn't even a fucking vacation to the Caribbean. I was so mad at myself that I forced myself to not spend a dime, a single dime, on anything for the next 10 days. No coffee, no magazines, no dating, no booze, nothing. Then something strange happened. I suddenly realized that I hadn't thought about my ex for almost 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks. This was an accomplishment that could not be ignored. At most, I'd managed maybe 2 hours during the previous 6 months, but here, out of the blue, had come 2 whole weeks. I felt great. I felt strong. I felt whole. For the first time in half a year, I felt confident and energetic. Of course, I was still pissed about wasting such a large sum of money on such a phenomenally stupid thing. But somehow that extreme, that thrust outside my norm, that huge lapse of judgment, had made my mind so preoccupied with something other than her that my heart was given a reprieve. Finally, it felt like some real, lasting, permanent, and life-affirming scar tissue was beginning to form. In short, it was money well spent.